When the world thinks of Piedmont, they picture the elegant Baroque squares of Turin, with its royal palaces and tree-lined boulevards that rival Paris in sophistication. They imagine the rolling vineyard-covered hills of Langhe, where every slope produces wines that command respect in the world's finest restaurants.
They dream of the ancient castle-crowned hills of Langhe and Monferrato, where every hill produces wines that command respect in the world's finest restaurants, and where UNESCO recognized not just a landscape, but 1,000 years of winemaking culture. They envision the glamour of the Italian Lakes District, from the Belle-Epoque villas of Lake Maggiore to the intimate charm of Lake Orta, where Hemingway found his inspiration. And naturally, they think of the Olympic ski resorts, Sestriere and the Via Lattea, just 90 minutes from Turin, where Italian style meets Alpine perfection. Yes, these world-renowned destinations are magnificent, and there's a reason why sophisticated travelers return to them year after year. But what if I told you that Piedmont's most astute investors are quietly acquiring properties in completely different areas? Today, I want to share something curious about how luxury markets work in Italy. While certain areas capture all the attention and headlines, other regions, equally beautiful, often more practical, remain known only to locals and the most patient researchers. These lesser-known places tend to follow a predictable pattern, first discovered by Italian families who value discretion, then by international buyers who take time to look beyond the obvious, and finally, inevitably, by everyone else. Understanding this pattern is how smart buyers stay ahead. Let me tell you about two such areas in Piedmont that represent extraordinary opportunities, places where Italian families have been quietly investing for years, while international markets remain surprisingly unaware. These aren't compromises or second choices. These are areas of exceptional beauty and strategic value that simply haven't been discovered by the global luxury market yet. Each is fascinating in its own way. Each offers something unique, and both are poised for the kind of recognition that transformed Langhe from local secret to international sensation. The first is what we'll call the gateway to Monferrato Hills, that UNESCO biosphere reserve east of Turin, where the landscape begins its transition into the famous Monferrato wine territory. It's curious how this area offers identical castle-topped hills and exceptional wines. Albugnano, for instance, produces vintages that equal in quality many of Piedmont's finest labels, yet remain virtually unknown internationally. Perhaps it's because people assume beauty requires distance from airports and cities. Though here, you have both Turin Airport and the city center within half an hour. But there's more to this gateway zone that makes it exceptional. This is where Turin's aristocratic families built their summer estates centuries ago. They understood something that modern buyers are only beginning to rediscover. The microclimate here is perfect, protected by the Alps, yet open to Mediterranean influences, creating ideal conditions for both vineyards and comfortable year-round living. The soil composition is identical to parts of Barolo and Barbaresco. The elevation provides natural cooling for elegant wines, and the southern exposure ensures that winter days are bright and warming. Add to this a cultural richness that includes Romanesque churches, medieval towers, and Baroque palazzos in every village, and you begin to understand why those who know Piedmont intimately choose to live here rather than in the more famous zones. What's interesting about this gateway zone is how it demonstrates that UNESCO protection doesn't always correlate with property prices. Despite being part of the Collina Po Biosphere Reserve, despite producing exceptional wines, despite having a castle on practically every summit, despite being far enough from a major city to avoid smog, properties here trade at significant discounts compared to similar estates on Turin's first hill, which is much more developed, with a more urban, less rural character in Langhe or even in the more remote Monferrato. The infrastructure is actually superior. Connectivity, proximity to Turin's centers of medical excellence, proximity to the most prestigious international schools, quick access to both Milan and the Via Lattea ski resorts, the airport just minutes away. Yet somehow, international attention hasn't yet arrived. These market inefficiencies rarely last long in Italy, especially for areas so close to the conveniences of a major city. Think about what this combination means for daily life. You wake up in your hilltop castello, surrounded by your own vineyards, the morning mist lifting to reveal the Alps in the distance. By lunchtime, you could be dining at a Michelin-starred restaurant in Turin, attending a business meeting in Milan, or even catching an international flight. Your children attend the same international schools that embassy families choose, yet they come home to an authentic Italian countryside experience. Weekend guests can fly in from London or Paris and be at your estate in under 2 hours total travel time. This isn't a compromise between rural beauty and urban convenience. It's having both completely. Most luxury buyers face an impossible choice. The renowned beauty of Langhe or deep Monferrato with 2-hour drives for everything, or Turin's immediate hills where neighbors are visible and city noise carries. This gateway zone breaks that compromise entirely. Your nearest neighbor sits a kilometer away across your own vineyards, while the 400 to 600 meter elevation lifts you above urban haze with Alpine winds, ensuring crystal clear air year-round. Yet when you need world-class healthcare, international connections, or urban sophistication, Turin's treasures are 25 minutes away. This exceptional territory holds deeper secrets. Here, Turin's aristocratic families built their summer estates centuries ago. They understood what modern buyers are rediscovering. The microclimate offers alpine protection with Mediterranean influences, creating perfect conditions for both elegant wines and year-round comfort. The soil mirrors parts of Barolo and Barbaresco, while cultural richness abounds through Romanesque churches, medieval towers, and Baroque palazzos gracing every village. It's the lifestyle equation that seemed impossible. Rural privacy with metropolitan proximity, agricultural authenticity with technological connectivity, explaining why those who truly know Piedmont choose to live here rather than in the famous zones. The properties themselves in this gateway zone tell fascinating stories. Many are historic cascine, traditional Piedmont farmhouses, that have been meticulously restored with modern amenities hidden within ancient walls. Others are noble villas with frescoed ceilings and private chapels, their formal Italian gardens now complemented by infinity pools that seem to float above the valley. The newest additions are contemporary architectural statements in glass and steel, designed to frame the landscape like living paintings. What they all share is space. Estates here typically include significant acreage, allowing for privacy that's become impossible closer to the city. Yet you're never more than 30 minutes from anything you might need. The second area, Valle Maira, represents the opposite philosophy entirely. This is for buyers who prioritize absolute authenticity above all else. The Occitan villages here haven't changed in centuries. No hotels, no tourist shops, just stone houses clinging to mountainsides like they've grown from the rock itself. Film directors adore it. Writers seek inspiration here. And yes, properties cost remarkably little. Naturally, reaching Valle Maira requires commitment. It's a proper mountain journey from any airport. But for those seeking true escape, perhaps that's precisely the point. Valle Maira offers what has become almost impossible to find in the Alps: complete authenticity without any tourist infrastructure. The valley's Occitan culture remains intact. The architecture is purely traditional, and the landscapes are so dramatic that film directors regularly use them as backdrops. Here you might purchase an entire hamlet for the price of a small apartment in Milan. The locals still speak their ancient dialect. The restaurants serve only what grows or grazes nearby, and the night sky reveals stars you forgot existed. Properties here cost a fraction of what you'd pay in Cortina or Courmayeur, perfect for those seeking true isolation who don't mind the 3-hour drive to civilization. But Valle Maira offers more than just isolation. It offers a different relationship with time itself. Here, seasons still dictate the rhythm of life. Spring brings wildflowers that carpet entire mountainsides. Summer offers hiking through landscapes unchanged since medieval times. Autumn delivers mushrooms and chestnuts from forests you can call your own, and winter transforms the valley into a pristine wonderland accessible only to those who belong. This isn't a place for weekend visits. It's for those ready to embrace a completely different existence. These two areas illustrate contrasting approaches to Piedmont living. Valle Maira suits those who measure luxury by distance from the modern world. The gateway to Monferrato Hills attracts those who've learned that in Italy, the best life often means having options: mountains for skiing, cities for culture, airports for business, all while living in UNESCO-protected beauty. There's no single right choice, only what matches your vision of Italian life. The pattern is always the same in Italian real estate. Areas get discovered, prices adjust, and buyers move on to the next hidden gem. Whether these two Piedmont areas will follow this pattern is for each buyer to assess. What's certain is that Piedmont still offers choices that have vanished elsewhere in Italy, places where you can live as Italian nobility did, surrounded by beauty and culture, but with the conveniences modern life demands. The only question is which compromise you're willing to make: remoteness, tradition, or perhaps no compromise at all. For those who understand that true luxury means having choices, the choice to be connected or completely private, to entertain guests or disappear entirely, to live in authentic Italy while enjoying every modern comfort. These hidden corners of Piedmont represent the ultimate opportunity. The question isn't whether these areas will be discovered. It's whether you'll discover them first. Time to look beyond the obvious. Time to discover the Piedmont that Italians have been keeping to themselves. Your perfect Italian life is waiting. You just need to know where to look.